What is going on, nerds of wrestling, and welcome back to What's Up Wrestler, a podcast by Nerds of Wrestling. It is I, your host, Justin Del Rio, and I am so glad to be back doing my podcast. It is August 13th, Friday, and my guest at this very time is the Vestler, Jack Tomlinson. What is going on, bro? How are you?
Hey, howdy, hey. I was good until like 3 seconds ago because I just realized it's Friday the 13th. You put into my mind, into the universe for me, so I have an excuse. This turns out terrible. That's why I was bad, because it's Friday the 13th.
No, same goes for me, man. How you been, dude? What's going on? How's life treating you?
It's good. We're all in it. We're all in this like freaky boat. Things are finally getting back, and I'm super excited that wrestling's starting to pick up again. And now we got the Delta variant, which is coming back. So now I'm kind of living life on the edge in terms of wrestling. It's been awesome. I've been good. I'm enjoying summer.
Yeah, dude. Have you been keeping up with any wrestling at all? AEW, WWE. There's so much wrestling going on. It's a bit overwhelming, to say the least.
Oh yeah, for sure. I always try and keep up to date on everything that's going on. It helps you not only as a performer to pick up on things that fans are interested in and make sure you're giving them a product that they want to see. It also helps that you're not like copycatting things that are literally happening on TV every week. So it does help to keep up to date.
Fair enough. Nerds of Wrestling here. I've said it before on my podcast. I'll say it again. I haven't been keeping up much with wrestling, unfortunately. It hasn't been really, catching my attention other than AEW. I don't know what the hell is going on in the world of WWE. They're absolutely insane. I'm sure you heard of all the releases that happened last week, 4 months ago, so-and-so. Really quick, if you want to talk about it, what are your thoughts on that, man? Like, do you have any thoughts on like the releases?
So when it comes to like things like that, I think it's very you got to be very, very cautious about how you say how you feel, because none of us actually know really what happens. We don't actually know what goes into it and what it is behind closed doors with the performers and with the company in and of itself. So I really can't say. Obviously, it's sad when anyone loses their job, especially when you look at the names that are on that list. I mean, some of these wrestlers are some of the most entertaining people they've done for the industry. Incredible. In terms of the company, I never doubt that beast that is WWE. Vince has always got something incredible brewing. No matter what anyone says about that company, they're WWE. They're a monster for a reason. I'm not really worried. Like I said, I feel bad for the wrestlers that get fired, but I don't really worry about what's going to happen for any of them, because in today's world, not only with AEW or Impact or Ring of Honor or anywhere in Japan, there's so many opportunities. And with things like YouTube, you really can manifest your own life, your own business without being with WWE. So if they want it badly enough, they're going to make it happen regardless.
I was saying the same thing. It's funny how you brought that up, because I said the same thing. A lot of the wrestlers who got signed to WWE already made a huge name for themselves in the indies. And going to WWE was like the icing on the cake. Unfortunately, it sucks they lost their job, but they're going to be fine when all these other indie promotions pick them back up. So at the end of the day, they're going to be good no matter what. What got you into wrestling? Let's talk a little bit about you. Who did you grow up idolizing? What really, just got you into the business?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually, I was never really a fan of it much when I was younger. I remember my brother used to watch it. He would watch it with my father from time to time. And I remember walking into our den where our TV was, and I saw John Cena was on TV and Sheamus was on TV. I have no memory what they were talking about, but I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. These are two very, very bright individuals. Sheamus had bright red hair, and Cena was wearing a bright, like bright orange hair is what I mean. And Cena was wearing an orange shirt, so I was like, oh, this is a lot of orange. And I was kind of just like, all right, cool. This is not my thing. Nothing wrong with it. And then fast forward, it's a few months, I think it was. I watched it a couple more times, seen things that were going on. But I saw a wrestler by the name of Zack Ryder, who is very familiar to me, being from Long Island and being trained at the Creative Pro Wrestling Academy. I saw him come out with Hugh Jackman. Now, you know who Hugh Jackman is. He's Wolverine. I mean, he's the man. And fast forward, he punches Dolph Ziggler in the face. And I remember seeing that happen live. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I have to get involved in this. And from that point on, I think I went like 4 years. I never missed a single Raw or a single SmackDown nonstop. I mean, at that time I was like 11. No, I went until I was like 16. From the age of 10 to the age of 11, I didn't miss. Age of 10 to the age of 16. That's what I mean. I didn't miss a single Raw, a single SmackDown, nothing in the slightest. I was always watching. I loved it. And it was in that exact moment I saw, I was like, I have to be involved in this. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That was like 2011, if I'm not mistaken, huh?
Oh yeah, this was like,
oh, Jesus, you're a baby. Holy crap! Like you're how old are you? Like 20?
I'm 20. Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm 27.
It's so strange in wrestling because obviously in the last 11 years that I've been a fan of professional wrestling, and especially the last 5 years I've been a professional wrestler, I've gone back and I've tried to learn and educate myself on everything that's happened. But like, I'll be talking about matches with like other guys that have been watching since I wasn't even born yet. Right. And they're idolizing, you know, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. Sometimes you go even farther back, it's Hogan. But then I'm just sitting here like, I watch Zack Ryder, you know, he was my guy. He was my guy. Zack Ryder was my all-time favorite wrestler. He's still to this day all-time favorite professional wrestler. It's
insane the amount of I don't want to say hate, but a lot of people are hating on Zack Ryder, you know, Matt Cardona, with what he's doing in GCW. He just it's nuts. It's insane. What are your thoughts on that?
He's the deathmatch king. He's the deathmatch king. There's no way around it. It's awesome, you know. I think it's saying something, you know. Sometimes leaving WWE is the best thing that happens to people's careers, but the world title in GCW, this is something he should have had a long time ago. And he's proving now that he's been able to hold his own with the Major Pod Network. I mean, him and Brian have literally what I just described. They turned their own opportunity using today's technology. So it's awesome. It's hot. I mean, 10 years ago, he was the hottest thing in wrestling. 10 years later, he's once again the hottest thing in wrestling.
Really quick, I want to talk about Zack Ryder. I feel like, this is my personal opinion, in 2011, WWE should have put the world title on Zack Ryder. That's when he was absolutely on fire. They put the United States title on him, you know, when he beat Ziggler. But I'm like, bro, like, what a missed opportunity. They should have made that man champion at least once. Not for long, but at least one time, just to give him that, you know, that push.
Yeah. I dude, as a fan watching it, that's all I wanted. Looking back on it, like I said, we never know what was going on there. At the same time, that was the summer of Punk, so there was so much that went into it. And honestly, it just helped to the character of Zack Ryder. He's experiences the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I mean, it literally it kind of made his career perfect the way it worked out, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Before we talk more about you in wrestling, drop those plugs. We'll be sure to drop them at the end. Where can the nerds find you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm on every single platform with social media because I'm the Vestler, which if you don't know, a Vestler is a vlogging wrestler, vlogger plus wrestler. It equals Vestler. So you can find me on YouTube, Jack Tomlinson Vlogs. You can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Jack Tomlinson 2000. And you can find me on Twitter at Jack Tomlinson 00. They wouldn't let me add in the 2 and the 0 because it was too long of a username.
It's all good.
You can also, last thing, you can also get the merch such as this shirt I'm wearing right now at prowrestlingtees.com/JT Vlogs.
Absolutely. Don't worry, nerds. If you missed that, we will be sure to drop those plugs at the end. Creator Pro Wrestling is where you train. Yes. I know there's a few Creator Pro. Where did you train? Did you train in the one in Jersey?
I trained at the one in Hicksville in Long Island.
Okay.
On Long Island. In Long Island? On Long Island? I don't know which one.
One or the other. It works. Stepping into the ring for the first time as a wrestling fan, and now you're doing it for real. What was going through your mind? What was that like?
First day of training?
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember it very clearly. I had gone to Creative Pro to see a show, Creative Bro, Robbie E., now Robert Stone. He was in the main event. And I went and spoke to both Brian Myers and Pat Buck that day and told them I wanted to train. I was 15 at the time, and they said, sorry, you can't start till you're 16. So I had about 2.5 months of like nonstop, like, I want this, I want to wrestle, I want to wrestle, I want to wrestle. So when it finally came, I was just kind of so like in the zone, ready to go. And when I first got there, that day was being trained by VSK. So VSK, he's been with AEW, wrestled for AEW, Impact, WWE. He was actually there with me in the ring when I wrestled on Raw. So he actually ran training that day, which was really cool. And Bryce Donovan, who's 1/3 member of the Shook crew, I was actually I can't believe I'm about to admit this. I was his first ever autograph as a fan. I had gone to a Creative Pro show, and I went up to him as a fan. Actually, my dad went up to him for me, and he's like, "Hey, could I have an autograph for my son?" And then I'm in the ring, like stretching out, and Bryce Donovan walks in. He goes, "Holy shit, what's up, kid?" And he high fives me. So right away, I felt like welcomed in. I felt at home. So the only nerves that ever set in was like the obvious nerves. I want to be one of the best wrestlers ever, and what if I suck? Like that was there, but I felt very safe and very comfortable early on.
It's pretty cool how you mentioned Bryce Donovan, because I know you wrestled Bryce Donovan recently against Kirby Wackerman with your tag team partner at Blitzkrieg.
Yes.
Was that, before we talk more about training, was that your first time wrestling Bryce Donovan, or have you guys worked before?
First time wrestling in front of a crowd. We wrestled in training. We've had a lot of really, really cool opportunities to wrestle behind closed doors together, but first time in front of a crowd.
That's awesome. Before we go back to that, after we go back to that, training, what was it like? How long did it take for you to get booked into your first promotion, your first show?
Yeah, so New York's got some interesting rules. You're not allowed to wrestle on a show until you're 18 in New York State. So you can train at 16, but you can't wrestle till you're 18. So I essentially had 2 years of just training. I was able to wrestle on birthday party shows because the rules are a little bit different. So I had my first official match after 5 months. That was on a birthday party show. That was against Smart Mark Sterling, who is Smart Mark Sterling Esquire of AEW. I got to have that match against him. And I believe about 6 months after that, I had my first independent show. I wrestled for WrestlePro in New Jersey, which is Creative Pro New Jersey, in a battle royal. But that was really it. Outside of one other match I had at CZW, I didn't have a single match on the independent show until I turned 18 in those first 2 years.
Damn. So how were you able to kind of keep such a positive mindset with those 2 years of training? Like, you're probably itching to get in front of a crowd and wrestle. What was your mindset? How were you able to, again, keep a positive mindset?
Yeah, for sure. It was really hard at times. It was really, really hard because that was coming off. It was going into my senior year of high school. So I was missing a lot of like senior high school experiences to be at training. And then I go to training, and then the next youngest person there, I believe, if I'm correct, they were 21 at the time and I was 16. So that's like a 5-year difference. And it may not sound like a lot, but maturity wise, it kind of was hard at times. So it was very difficult. It was really hard. Thankfully, I did theater throughout all of high school. So there were certain scenarios when I would have to miss wrestling for like a couple weeks because we'd be in tech week and then we'd have the week of the show. So I did get a good like detox where I could step back and be with my age and kind of experience high school. So that's kind of how I got through it.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 years is a long time though, and I'm glad you were able to kind of step back for a while, do your thing in high school. After high school, you must have been like, okay, wrestling is on, let's do this. 2 years is a long time. What was the first promotion you wrestled for?
So technically it is WrestlePro was the first company I wrestled for because it was a battle royal. The first real company I ever actually had a match for was Creative Pro though.
Nice. What was going through your mind in that battle royal? Nervous? Just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Honestly, no. I didn't have a license at the time. So my grandfather drove me there and I kind of felt really bad for him that I was driving, that he had to drive me. What was going through my mind was nerves, but it wasn't for the wrestling. I was so comfortable and confident. It was a battle royal. We had done them in training. I had felt safe. Right. I knew the guys in the match because they're at the Creative Pro New Jersey school. So I felt at home. It was when there was a call time, but call time happened when I was still in school. So I had to call Pat Buck and I was like, this was like a couple weeks in advance. I was like, hey Pat, I don't get out of school until like an hour after call time. And this is high school. It's not college. I can't just be confused when I show up. I have to be there. So he's like, yeah, it's no problem. I show up. And when I get there, I won't say who, a wrestler walks up to me and like literally gets right in my face and goes, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm one of the wrestlers. And he goes, you know, we're supposed to be here like 4 hours ago. Not really. It was like 2 hours ago. I got there at like 6. Call time was like 4. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I told Pat Buck he knew I was going to be late. And he's just like, huh. And he just walked away from me. I was terrified. I was like a little 16-year-old kid, terrified.
Did you prove your ground during that match? Like, was he impressed? I know you said you weren't
I
going to
doubt
say
he
it.
saw it. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him about that ever in my life.
Right.
I saw him at another show like a year later. I was like, "Hey, man," and he goes, "What's up, kid? How you doing?" He passed me like.
Nice. After that, were you comfortable getting booked in more promotions? I know you wrestled for Chaotic. What was Chaotic like? Because obviously in New England, there's so many promotions out there. Chaotic is one of the top tier. What was it like wrestling for Chaotic?
It was my first experience back on an independent show since COVID started. So I was very out of place in terms of, like, now I'm a little bit more comfortable. Before the pandemic, I was a little bit comfortable walking into a brand new locker room, introducing yourself, meeting everyone. Here it was so new. Like, I completely forgot what I'm supposed to do. I completely forgot who I'm supposed to talk to. And with the pandemic, I was like, do I shake people's hands? Like, I didn't know what to do with myself in that position. But Chaotic has an incredible, incredible environment. They have an insanely talented roster. And I was blessed I got to go up against Ricky Archer right away. And Ricky Archer, we have a joke. Ricky Archer is the me of New England, and I'm the him of Long Island.
I love it.
There's young, dare we say, good-looking, jacked guys who just have similar in-ring styles. And they were very welcoming right away. I loved it. I loved it there.
I remember I first saw Ricky Archer a couple of years ago in Massachusetts in 2019. He was just starting then, I believe. And he's really just skyrocketed out of nowhere. So, shout outs to Ricky. Again, Chaotic Wrestling is one of the big promotions. The Limitless is out there. Do you have your eyes set on any big promotions in New England?
Honestly, I want to wrestle everywhere. I want to get everywhere I can possibly be, because one thing I learned from Pat Buck early on is, even if it's to this random town and you're kind of like in your car driving home, like, why did I do that? Right. Really think about it. You're going to learn something from every single experience. Never think you're above anything. Always be willing to learn and soak in what you can take from any event in your life. So I really just kind of want to get everywhere. I want to learn as much as I can. I want to get to the best possible level I can be. Ultimately, the end goal is to get signed and to do this for a living and be on television. This way I can entertain the world. That's the ultimate goal.
Other than wrestling, what does Jack do for fun? You're in school currently, correct?
Yes. So I'm going to my senior year. I'm studying physical and health education. So the side job would be a teacher. I can't imagine teaching and being a wrestler. That's very interesting. But I believe Hangman Adam Page has done it. I believe Colt Cabana has done it. So it's definitely possible. I absolutely love it. I make YouTube videos not only for wrestling but for myself. Most of the time they do fall under professional wrestling, but a lot of the times they're just about my life, because I just love filming. I love making videos. Outside of that, I'm a pretty normal guy. I go to the gym, I go to church, I hang out with my friends. I watch a lot of TV. I'm a big cinema nerd, so I don't just watch TV or movies because I'm lazy, or because it's easy, or because I like my couch or I like my bed. No, I do it because I have this really unhealthy obsession with the art that is cinema, everything that goes into it, not just the acting, but the film, the director's point of view. I just love everything that goes into it. It's so cool. It's so amazing.
Netflix is obviously the most popular thing out there. During COVID, what were you binge watching? Any shows, any movies? What were the stuff that you were really caught your attention?
I watched a little bit too much during quarantine.
We all did.
The first thing I watched was actually not on Netflix. I watched One Tree Hill for the first time ever, which has since become my all-time favorite TV show ever. I love that show more than life itself. What else did I watch? I watched Stranger Things. I watched Reba. I watched Riverdale. I watched Outer Banks, which just came out season 2.
Nice.
Those are there was something else. I can't think of it. 13 Reasons Why was another thing I watched. So I watched a lot of shows start to finish.
Speaking of One Tree Hill, I just saw your YouTube. You just got the jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And my Nathan Scott jersey from the Tree Hill Ravens is actually hanging up right over there.
Nice. Got 13 Reasons Why was very intense show. Other than all those other shows, wrestling, did you catch any old wrestling matches or any new wrestling matches that you discovered?
So I'll be honest, when it came to wrestling, I honestly didn't watch much of it during the pandemic, and there was really one major reason. I think there was a movie about a kid who became a professional wrestler, and Keith Lee was in it. It was
Yeah,
Like, I watched that, but
the main event.
Is that what it was called? I can't remember. I watched that because it was cute. It was like a little kid movie.
Right.
But I honestly didn't watch much, if any, wrestling during quarantine, not the pandemic, just those 3 months where we were like tight lockdown.
Right.
Because I couldn't. I watched it and I just got upset. I was like, I couldn't handle that I couldn't do this. So to me, it was kind of, I had to take a step back.
As a fan watching wrestling during the pandemic, I couldn't do it for the no crowd. You know, I just watching it. I'm just like, how do people watch this for 3 hours? Like, it's so boring. It's so bad.
But I'll also say it gave us things like the Firefly Funhouse match. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in wrestling. So obviously I watched WrestleMania when it came out, but like there was no consistency because it made me sad. It made me really sad to watch.
No, I agree. You talked about that movie, The Main Event. Funny story, real quick. I work with kids for a living, right? And one of the kids talks about wrestling all the time. He's like, "Oh, my favorite wrestler is Smooth Criminal." I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "Smooth Criminal." I'm like,
"Is that Keith Lee's name in the movie?"
Like, who is that? Yeah, it's like, I'm like, "Oh, Keith Lee." He goes, "No, Smooth Criminal." I'm like, "All right, sure, whatever, sure, that's his name. Whatever."
Whatever made him a fan.
Whatever made him a fan. Yo, you're absolutely right. Jack, other than Netflix, other than all those movies, what's your favorite movie? I gotta ask. Now we're talking about movies before. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Okay, so I have one that kind of stands above, and then I have like 3 or 4 that are right there. So all of them in all, one is Moneyball. I just love
it. Excellent. Love it.
Love the acting, love the story, true underdog story, and I love baseball. The next one is it's a tie between The Outsiders, which also is coincidentally my favorite book, The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Pain and Gain.
Okay, a lot of young people are like very into like 80s movies.
80s
like Breakfast Club, like I'm like, damn, like you guys love these 80s movies. I'm like born in 94. I like, Sandlot is one of my favorite movies. You said you're a baseball fan. Moneyball. Excellent movie. What's your favorite baseball team?
Yankees.
Oh fuck, man! Oh, shit. Oh, damn it! We can't be friends. I'm a Sox fan. I'm a big Sox fan.
Well, that's just sad.
No, it's not.
Why would
really.
You do that to yourself?
Huh?
Why would you do that to yourself?
I was born in a Red Sox household. I mean, hey, 2004 was a great year for us. I'm sure you know the history behind 2004.
I was 4 years old, bro. What was happening in 04?
Oh, Jesus. All right, well, quick story. Red Sox had the greatest comeback in sports history. Ask your parents about it. Look it up on Google. Sox were down 0-3. Yankees were up 3-0. Yankees had to win one more game. Just one more game.
Was this the American League Championship?
Red Sox come back and win 4 in a row.
Sometimes things happen. At the end of the day, Yankees have 27 World Series. The Red Sox.
That's your only excuse. I hate that.
You just had to jump back to 2004. Why don't
Come on.
2009.
But you're whatever.
My favorite baseball player is actually Bryce Harper, though. He's not even on the Yankees. He's a Philly.
Nice. He used to play for Nationals, and you guys got freaking what's his name from the Cubs? You guys stole it from us. Rizzo. We were supposed to get him.
Dude. I hate to break this to people, and I hope I don't lose fans for this. Red Sox suck. Point blank.
I don't know, man. You might lose me as a fan now. Shit, I don't know.
I already got
it. It is what it is. Now I'm just messing with you. Jack, this has been a lot of fun, though, talking to you, getting to know you. Hate to cut it short, but that's how it is. I hope to get you on again soon,
Love that.
Again on the podcast very soon, because I know you have a lot more going on in your life. I know you have way more bookings. Speaking of bookings, you have shows coming up this weekend. Victory Pro Wrestling in Bliss Creek on Sunday. What's your mindset going into those?
Victory Pro Wrestling is like another home to me, so I'm super excited. I'm going up against Mr. Tibbs, who's one of my all-time favorite opponents to work in the ring. He's insanely talented. He was there my first day of training, so I'm really excited to wrestle him. Then we got the Gold Rush Rumble, which is essentially just like a Royal Rumble, and the winner gets a shot at a VPW championship. So we got to win that, and we're going to hopefully get some gold for the Jack Pack. And then Sunday with Blitzkrieg, I'm super excited because that's where I put on my nice white jeans. I pretend that I'm a Backstreet Boy and a member of Big Time Rush, and I get to sing with Eric James. That's where fun kicks in.
I love it.
Sing my way into the fans' heart, and I kick my way into a win in the match.
I love it. You play a heel if I'm not mistaken, over there, huh?
Yes.
Now, and you're typically a face, if I'm not mistaken.
Very much.
I love it. Well, I want to ask, what's it like playing a face and a heel? What's easier to you?
So face is easier in a sense for me because it's what I'm used to. It's what I know. It's what I feel comfortable with.
Right.
I also have an inherent connection with young kids because I'm so young looking. I love hanging out with kids. I mean, I want to be a teacher, so it does work out for me. Being a heel in a sense, it's kind of quote unquote easier because I like, sometimes it's just easy just to look at people and just go, you suck. It's a lot easier to insult someone than to be nice to someone. It's not the right way to go about life. It's not how I like to go about life. But when you're in that ring, it's all business.
Right. Exactly. Jack, again, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I hope to have you on again in the near future. One more time, drop those plugs. Where can the nerds find you?
Absolutely. YouTube, Jack Tomlinson Vlogs, Instagram and TikTok, Jack Tomlinson 2000, Twitter, Jack Tomlinson 00, and well, you don't spell out 00, but you can get the merch at prowrestlingtees.com/JTVlogs.
All right, nerds, you heard it from the man himself. This has been an episode of What's Up Wrestler, a podcast by Nerds of Wrestling. I'm your host, Justin Del Rio. Peace out, nerds.
Thanks for having me.